Hello friends, welcome to the module 5 of our Node.js training course on my channel Let's Learn. In this module we will cover the essential topics like what is async await in Node.js, benefits of using async await, what is the error handling in promises when we are using the async await, and different scenarios of async await. So before moving further, I would like to request to my viewers that if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get the notification of more such videos. I will add the links of all videos of this tutorial in the description section. Now let's start. So the first one is what is async await. So the async await feature in the Node.js is a mechanism that simplifies the asynchronous programming, making it easier to work with the promises and asynchronous operations in more synchronous-like fashion. It was first introduced in ECMAScript 2017, that is ES8, and has since become a fundamental part of modern JavaScript and Node.js development. Async await greatly simplifies the development of asynchronous code in Node.js, and it improves the code readability. It has become the preferred way of handling the asynchronous operations in modern JavaScript as well as in the Node.js application. Now let's understand it with the help of an example in Visual Studio. So I'm opening and here the example. So first let's go through the code to understand it, how to use the async await. Okay, so whenever we are creating any functions where we are going to use the async await, then first keyword we should use is like this, async. So in the function definition we will have to use this keyword async, then only this function will behave like a async function. And if we are using async keyword before any function, then this function by default it will return a promise. Okay, so for example, if we just mouse over it, here we are seeing that the return type of it is promise. Started a try catch block, so this is highly needed whenever we are writing any async function. First we will have to use the try catch block. This try catch block is basically the error handling, and if any error is happening between line number 3 to line number 9, then control will automatically come in the catch block, and in the catch block we are throwing this error so that whoever is calling this function, he process or he will handle that error. So this is how we are handling the error in async function. Now at line number 3, what we are doing at line number 3, we have created one new promise, and this promise is resolving first. Then at line number 4 we are creating another promise and we are keeping it in a variable promise2, and here we are calling the set timeout, and in set timeout we are resolving it after 100 milliseconds and it is returning second. Now here we are using await promise1 and then await promise2, then whatever the value we are getting from promise1. So what promise1 is resolving, this is resolving this string first, so this data will come under the value 1 and value 2 will get this data, but value 2 will get this data after completion of 100 milliseconds. So after completion of 100 milliseconds, then it will get this data and it will come under the value 2. And as here first we are triggering this line, then we are triggering this line. So here by using await we are making sure that first this line will be completed, that means first this promise will be completed, then only line number 7 will execute, and once line number 7, under line number 7, once this promise is completed, then only its data will come under the value 2, and after that only the line number 8 will execute. So although if we see here, although these are the promises, this is promise 1, this is promise 2, but these promises are running one by one in sequence manner. Okay, but it doesn't mean that once control has triggered this, then our main thread will keep waiting here till the completion of this and then only it will execute. No, it will trigger this promise and then this promise will be handled by event loop of Node.js, and by that time our main thread will be free to process any other request if that are in the pending mode or that request is waiting for the main thread. Then main thread will go for that new request and it will start processing, and by that time promise 1 will be completed, and once promise 1 will be completed, then control or main thread will come back here and then it will execute the line 7, and then again this promise will be handled by the event loop, and main thread will start processing the another request, and by that time once promise 2 is completed, then again control our main thread will come at the line number 8, and then here it will keep moving on. So this is how the async await works here. So although visually it seems that these lines are executing one after another, and control is waiting here at line number 6 and then line number 7, but it's not like that. It has executed the line number 6, and then this promise 1 is till the time promise 1 is being handled by the event loop, by that time our main thread is processing another request. But yeah, that for sure that it will not execute the line number 7 before completion of line number 6. This assurance is being provided by this await keyword. Okay, but again I am repeating again, this doesn't mean that our main thread is waiting here. Our once after executing this line, our main thread becomes free to handle any other request. So this is very important concept, and that this concept is basically examined in most of the interview. Here again I have defined another function test2. This is also a async function, and in this function I am calling test async, that the function that I have defined here. This function I am calling here, and this function was async, so I am using await keyword. So here control will wait here, and once we will get whatever data is being returned by this, then this data we are getting, and this data we are printing here. So now let's see how it is behaving. So node async example. So see here it has printed this line, final data is equal to first minus second. Okay, so this data it is printing. Now what if any error is happening? So suppose if any error is happening here, then I have told the control will come here in the catch block, and from here we are throwing this error. So I had told that to whoever is calling this function, then he will handle that. So it is throwing this error, and as this error is being thrown, then control will come here in this catch block and it will print this error. Now let's see how this is happening. So here I'm making an error, control S, and let's run it. So if I'm running it, then if we see here it is giving this error. Now let's understand the different scenarios of async await. So generally async await are basically used in two scenarios. One scenario that I discussed with you, where we are having multiple async operations and we want to run those async operations in sequence. That means in one after another. For example, suppose first we are getting the customer ID from one table, and once we got the customer ID, then we are hitting another table to get the customer details, and in second operation, and from second operation then we are getting the customer detail, and then we are hitting the third operation, that is writing this customer data to a file. So let's see how it is being done. So for this I have already created one program, and this is async sequence. I have created three functions. Async one, it is returning this data, and this is the async function. Okay, then I have created async 2 function, and it is also here returning one promise, and under this promise there is a set timeout, and then here after 100 millisecond it is resolving quick, and then the third one is after 200 millisecond it is returning slow. And what I am doing here in the final function is the test function, where I am calling all the three functions in sequence. First it is calling async 1. Once this is completed, then it is calling async 2. Once async 2 is completed, then it is calling async 3, and thus it is getting data from all the three asynchronous operations in a sequence way under the variables value 1, value 2, and value 3. Now what it is doing, all this data it is appending in a single string, that is the final value, and then this final value it is printing here. Now let's see how it is running. So let's clean the terminal and then let's run it. Node async sequence. Okay, so here if we see control is coming here and it is printing this data, quick, slow, 1 2 3. Okay, now let's if any error is happening, then what will happen? So suppose I'm throwing an error in the second function, that is async 2. So if I'm throwing any error here, then from here control will come into the catch block, and this catch block is again throwing the error. So whoever is calling this function, he will have to handle, and this is the caller of the function. So this test function is calling async 2 here, and here error will happen, then control will come under the catch block, and then catch block will process this error. Now let's see it, and then let's try it. So see, now it is printing the error. So this can be done by using the promises that I have already shown in my module 4 video. So you can take a reference from there. But if you compare both the examples shown in my module 4 and the example that I am showing here, then you can easily understand how simple code has become here when we are using the async await. So thus it is making our code very simple, very readable. Now what if there are multiple operations? Suppose there are 3 operations, and we need to run first 2 operations in parallel, and once both operations are completed, then we need to run the third operation. So in these scenarios, how we will handle this kind of the scenario? For this I have also created one program, and it is async parallel. So what I am doing here, let's first go through the code. So here in async operation 1, I am returning one value. In async operation 2, again there is a set timeout, and after 100 millisecond it is returning quick message. And in third async 3, after 200 millisecond I am returning here slow. And what I'm doing here, that I have called here async 1, and whatever the promise it is returning, that is coming under this variable value 1 promise. This promise of async 2 is coming under the value 2 promise, and then both the promises I am adding in a array, and that is the promises, and then I am calling Promise.all. So if you want to understand about the Promise.all, then please go through my module 4 video. There I have clearly explained the Promise.all with the example, so that you can understand from there. Link you will find in the description section. And as we have called Promise.all, then control will run these 2 promises in parallel. So these 2 promises will run together, not one after another. Will run these 2 operations will run in parallel, and once both are completed, then only data will come under the values. And here values is basically an array that will have the data of value 1 promise and data of promise 2. Now once these 2 promises are completed, then only I am running here promise 3, and here I got the values. So as I have mentioned, values is an array, so from 0th value I am getting the data from promise 1, from 1th value I am getting the data of the promise 2, and promise 3 data, that is this value 3, is coming here. Now I am appending all these 3 data in a final value, and then I am printing it. Now let's see this. Now node is sync parallel. Okay, so here we can see it has printed this data. That means it is printing the data from here. So this is how we can run multiple operations in parallel, and once those parallel operations are completed, then we can run the third operation. So in your real-time coding you will find this kind of scenario. So this is all that I am having today to discuss with my viewers about async await and its benefit, and error handling about the async await. And I also discussed about the different scenarios of async await. So humble request with my viewer that please do practice of these codings, and you will get more information once you are doing the practice about these topics. Don't forget to like my videos and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest Node.js tutorial. And if you have any question or need any help, then feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and happy coding.